In this video, I'm going to show you 7 exercises to ironclad your shoulders. Many people need to strengthen their shoulders. Either it's because of an injury or because they need some rehab. So I'm going to show you the exercises in detail and a little workout at the end. But before we get started, I have a gift for you. 30 days filled with kettlebell workouts for free. Check the first link in the description. Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebe hier. Many of us have shoulder problems because we sit on a desk all day, or we have this typical smartphone posture. You see, many of us never do overhead stuff, or we do stuff like this where we externally and internally rotate the shoulder. So if we neglect these movement patterns, problems may arise down the line. Now you probably know these types of machines or these types of exercises where you internally and externally rotate the shoulder to train your rotator cuff muscles. And while this is a path that you can do, I believe the kettlebell is a way better tool because it requires your whole shoulder joint and the muscles, the tendons, ligaments, everything that's attached right here to work as a unit. And as we all know, the body likes it if it has to work as a synchronized, harmonized system. The first exercise I'm going to show you is a double-handed press. Observe. The double-handed press works like this. I have a shoulder width stance. The kettlebell's a little bit in front of me. I pull on the handle so that the base is off the floor. Now I swing the kettlebell between my legs and then I clean it up and I insert both of my thumbs inside the window of the kettlebell and then I grab the bell with the fingers. 1, 2, 3. Once I have the kettlebell close to my body, elbows are tucked in to my body. The handle makes contact with my chest. I pull my neck back. And now I extend both of my arms overhead with the bell. Once I'm at the top position, I'll make sure that the kettlebell sits approximately alongside the middle of my head. And once I come back down, elbows are close. I'll tilt my head back a little, and that's it. The double-handed press is a great way for beginners to get started with kettlebell pressing. Exercise number 2 is the single hand press. And in order to master the single hand press, you have to understand the clean and the hand insertion first. Hand insertion means that I insert my full hand inside the window of the kettlebell and then I rack the kettlebell close to my body. You don't have to perfect this exercise right now. Matter of fact, you can use a so-called assisted clean just to get the setup right. Looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Now in that rack position, there's one thing that you can see. The kettlebell is pulling laterally away from me, even though it sits or my elbow sits on my frame. This means my arm and my shoulder already has to do a little bit of maintenance work to keep the kettlebell racked. Once I'm getting ready to press, I follow a straight line upwards, pushing the handles up first. And when I reach that so-called top fixation, I pull my arm back a little bit. This opens up my whole chest area. And now the biceps has close contact to my ear. Bringing the kettlebell back down into the rack position means I want to still follow this medial line. Don't go laterally away. Keep the bell close to your body and rack the weight. The next exercise is the push press. And if we want to be technically sound, the previous exercise, the single hand press, should be called a single hand strict press. Now with the push press, we follow the same movement pattern like in the strict press. The only difference is we now use the drive from our legs. Again, I'm using the assisted clean to get the setup right. 1, 2, 3. And as a small side note, make sure your knees are locked, your glutes are tight, elbows close to the body. If you want to finish strong, you have to start strong. Now, in order for the push press to work powerfully, I want to make sure that the elbow makes contact with either the iliac crest of my hip or my stomach area. This is the platform where I'm now using my legs to transfer the energy into this platform to bring the weight overhead. With the strict press, we saw that we only have one movement. We press the kettlebell into the top fixation. With the push press, we have 2 additional phases that we need to follow. Having the elbows close to my body means I'm ready to transfer the energy into my arms. So phase number 1 would be the dip. Notice how I'm just pushing the knees forward and my feet still have contact with the floor. From this position, I go into so-called triple extension, where I extend my ankle joint, my knee joint, as well as my hip joint. Looks like this. Boom. From this position, I transfer the energy, the kettlebell starts flying, and once I land in the top fixation, I'll go back down on my heels. Let's follow up with exercise number 4, the jerk. Same movement pattern like in the previous exercise, the push press, but we add one more phase. So you might have noticed phase number 3, the second dip. So the jerk consists out of 3 additional phases. We have the dip, we have the bump, the triple extension, and then once the kettlebell is overhead, we extend the arms and we land in the second dip on our heels. And then we finish in the top fixation and come down into the rack. Now with these 4 press variations, there's one specific step that I want you to master, and that is stabilizing your shoulder joint by depressing your shoulder blades. Depressing the shoulder blades means that your trap muscle, this big thing right here, pulls down. It's like screwing your arm into the socket. This gives additional stability. Even your big back muscle is adding in that movement. You can try this with me. Bring both of your hands overhead and extend them. Fully extend the arms. And now lift the shoulder blades up. And now pull the shoulder blades down without bending the arms. Keep them extended. Now lift them back up and lift them back down. Lift them back up, lift them back down. Do you feel the difference? When you pull your shoulder blades down, you feel there is a sense of safety and stability. This is a crucial part that takes some practice to master when you are pressing kettlebells, because you are flexing the shoulder, you are extending the elbow, but you are depressing the shoulder blade once you land in the top fixation. So it's not this where you try to elevate your shoulder up to the top. That's wrong, because now my shoulder feels very insecure. I want to make sure this happens. Can you see this? I'm pulling the shoulders back, down, and now I feel a lot of stability. Now we have exercise number 5, the windmill. This is more of a static exercise where your shoulder has to work hard to keep your arms in place. Let's cover the exercise step by step. Shoulder width stance. Turn both of your feet to the right side. Bring your left arm over your head. Now push your hips sideways, and remember, keep your shoulder packed and pull the shoulders down. Now rotate your T-spine towards the front, bring your right arm to your right leg, and now descend with your upper body and come back up. Once you are in the top fixation again, you should face slide to this diagonal view because we have turned the feet to the right side. If you're just getting started and you're not sure about having the kettlebell overhead, you can do the low windmill. Grab the kettlebell. Now we do the same thing, shoulder width stance, feet turn to the right, left arm overhead, and now we do the same thing with the kettlebell pulling us down. Come back up. If you have mastered the press, I believe the windmill is a powerful addition to your exercise vocabulary. Your shoulder has to build some isometric strength, and your stabilizers have to work overtime to keep your arm safe and stable. Exercise number 6 is the Turkish get-up. Here, similar to the windmill, we build isometric and straight arm strength. Yet there's also a dynamic component where we have to press the weight when we are on the floor. And it's especially hard because we have to stand up and get back down on the ground on our back with the arm extended and weight overhead. So it looks like this. I like to start in the top fixation overhead. We start in the shoulder width stance. I extend my right arm overhead. Now I'll go into a curtsy lunge with my left leg. Slightly diagonal to the right side, like a reverse lunge. Now I open up my hips by lifting my right leg off the floor, placing it alongside my rear foot. Now here, my hip is now open to move. I go down into the kneeling windmill. Now from this position, I bring my leg that's behind me, my left leg, to the front, place it on the heels, down on my hips. Now I'll go down on my elbow, and now I'm compensating the weight on my right foot and my left elbow to go slowly down on my back. And now arm comes back down. Now I press the arm up. From this position, I'm using my right leg to switch the weight to my left elbow. Now up on my hands, pushing the hips up, pulling my front leg behind and rotating my hips. From this position, I do a so-called kneeling jerk where I use my body like a spring. Now I'm in that position to stand back up. Exercise number 7 is the kettlebell sock tong. I've named this exercise after the downward elbow from Muay Thai. I've actually never seen anybody do this. Maybe somebody already has. Maybe there is a name for this exercise. I just recently came up with it and I think it is awesome. It works like this. What you are essentially doing is internal to external rotation, and then just like in Muay Thai or maybe similar, you try to punch down with the elbow. And this is a great exercise, not just to strengthen the shoulder, but it's also a great utility tool for a good warm-up. The last exercise that I want to show you is a swing with the mace, which I have learned by my brother, the Flowing Dutchman. He's a professional when it comes to mace training. I've bought one of his courses. I'm just relaying the information that I got from him. So what I try to do with the swing, with the front swing, is the following. I have the mace in front of me, and now I rotate the mace in front of me. Now I'm switching sides. And now you can combine a front swing in front of you with the back swing. The other thing that I also like to do is the side swing. It's such a great complementary tool because the mace works in a plane of motion where the kettlebell normally doesn't reside, the so-called frontal plane. If you start training with kettlebells, you most definitely will include presses almost on a daily basis. So in almost any one of your workouts, your arms have to go overhead, go into internal and external rotation, do some strengthening and some stabilizing work. With other training tools, this doesn't happen as often. With the kettlebell, pressing belongs to the curriculum of this training philosophy. That's one of the reasons why I think kettlebell training offers itself so well to rehab and strengthen your shoulder. Here's the workout, fairly simple. Take all these exercises that I've shown you and do them for 1 minute each. And always split the volume equally between left and right. This means, for example, if you are doing a press, you do 30 seconds with the right side and then 30 seconds with the left side. This is 7 minutes of total work. Try to work as unbroken as possible. This means with as little as rest as needed. Once you've finished all exercises, this goes up to 6 to 7 minutes, then you have done 1 round. Do a dedicated minute of rest and go for 2 to 3 rounds max. Here's the next thing that you have to do. Like the video, consider subscribing, share with friends, and then go watch this video. Maybe this is the first time you see our YouTube channel. We're all about kettlebells. And in this video, I talk a little bit more about beginner exercises that lend themselves well for a full body workout. So if you're just starting out, go watch this video right now.